Okay, I'm coming at you with another variable rate update this week. What has happened since we've had a rate change last week? So first of all, I've never seen so much misinformation in my entire career around what a Bank of Canada rate change is. And every single day, that's the bulk of my phone calls are telling people that what they heard or what they understand is completely wrong. So it's really important that you know what's involved with this. So last week, we know the Bank of Canada reduced the policy interest rate by 0.50%. Now, let's review what that even means. First of all, the policy rate is not the prime rate. So when you see 3.75, there is no 3.75% interest rate. None of that. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody puts on their Facebook page, not a thing. That is the rate that is the cost for banks to lend to each other. Now, that in turn can affect the prime rate, and the prime rate sits today for most banks, not all banks. TD has a different prime rate, but, usually kind of nets the same. 5.95. 5.95 is prime. So we started at 7.2 this year. We're down to 5.95. So that's where prime is today. Now, again, the Bank of Canada rate only affects a variable rate product. What was that? Variable rate mortgages and lines of credit. Does it affect fixed rates? No. Is there a correlation between fixed rates and variable rates droppings? No, there is not. What there is a correlation with is the things that make fixed rates drop and variable rates drops are, some of those factors are the same. That's the only correlation. And so let's talk about fixed rates first. So currently fixed rates are in a bit of a holding pattern. We have not seen a lot of movement. We've seen the bond yields dip up, bond yields dip down. We have not seen fixed rates drop for 3 weeks. Okay. Now, the next barometer may be the U.S. election. Now, currently, the markets have priced in a Republican win in the election. So the markets are reflecting a Republican win in the election. So what could happen, and this is very hypothetical, the Democrats are to win the election in the United States, which, again, affects bond yields and fixed rates, nothing to do with variable rates. That could mean, that would probably mean that we'd see interest rates go up, to be honest. If the Democrats win the election, that could be possible, at least temporarily. And then I think that they would bounce back down in short order. Now, obviously, a lot of people have gone with the strategy, let's take a variable now and lock in later. Look, I do think that there is some runway. I think we sit at mid fours, low fours for most interest rates. I think we'll see some high threes into the spring. But that may be very well be where things stall and stop. What I am convinced on in these days is that the variable rate is on a path where it's going to go to what has been historically the case, where it has been much lower. This is to do with the inverted yield curve. And you're going to see by the spring that a variable rate will be a lower interest rate. And so I remain very, especially right now, certainly a variable rate does make a lot of sense. I realize there can be bad feeling when people feel that fixed rates were lower and their variable was higher. But we're talking about right now where we're at. I think that the prime rate is predicted, and that prediction continues to gather steam to drop another 0.50% and then a full other percent before summer next year. And that timeline seems to creep up a little bit. We now see some people saying a full percent. So if we think about, someone taking an interest rate, let's say prime -1, so that would be 4.95 today, and let's say it drops another, so 4.45, 4.45, which is very close to what a fixed rate is, by Christmas, and then it'll fully pay, so 3.45. So definitely some really, really good feeling in taking the variable rate. Let's switch gears again. If you're wanting to look at a fixed rate, I've been waiting for fixed rates to go down. I would say that now could be as good of a time as any is for you to lock in if that's the path that you choose. I don't think locking in shorter terms makes a lot of sense. I think that this could be, I think you're going to have one other interval that's possible where we might see some, like I said, some higher threes. I think that's a very realistic thing. But I think if you want to lock in, or for that matter, if you want to redo your mortgage, I think now would be your best time to do so over the insuring month. And you know what? If you have a mortgage that's high, non-variable, you might consider redoing that right now no matter what. If you have a variable that's high, you might consider redoing that no matter what, because you could roll debt in. So all things to do that in a lot of cases, you might consider redoing any of the parts of your mortgage. So anyway, that's a variable rate update. If I can help with anything, please reach out. We'd be pleased to give you a hand.